Good day, future engineers. And this video tutorial will be solving another CEBoard exam problem last April 2025. This time about 3D statics. So we have here a weightless pole though is attached to cable BC as shown. Given yung allowable tension ng cable BC, which is 150 kilonewtons, then yung values ng X1, Y1, and Z1. First question, what is the tension force along the y-axis considering the allowable tension of the cable? Okay, so let's proceed. First is, let us indicate the dimensions. X1 is 3 meters, Y1 is 4 meters, and eto yung Z1, the vertical height. Although it looks like nagapaslan siya, the location of A and B is at the same point. So this is Z1. Z1 is 6 meters. Okay? Now, to avoid the confusion, you can indicate the X and Y axis para hindi kayo ma-confuse. So this is your Y axis and ito naman ang X axis. And yung Z axis is yung vertical. Okay. We need to determine yung tension force along the y-axis. So, yung tension force, mag-develop siya dito sa cable. Let's say, eto yung T. And this T, mare-resolve ito into components. We have your Tx. Saan papunta yung Tx? Papunta doon. Dito yung Tx. Yung Ty is this side. And yung Tz is going downwards. So these are the components of your tension, the cable. Now, how do we solve for Ty? To solve for Ty, since we know na component siya, diba, the formula here is T is the resultant of Tx, Ty, and Tz. So, Tx squared plus Ty squared plus Tz squared. However, wala tayong value ng Tx and Tz. We only have T. T is 150 kilonewtons. There are different ways, no? Maraming paraan para mag-solve ng components ng Tx or components ng T. At para sa akin, yung pinakamadali is to do a ratio and proportion considering the distance na given. Kasi this distance is 6 meters along the axis, 3 meters along X, and 4 meters along Y. They are proportional to the forces. Ito sa components ng force or ng tension force. So, you can solve Ty using ratio and proportion. Load all over distance. We have ito T all over one distance L. Okay, wala pa tayong L. Yung L, this is the distance of point B relative to C. Etong distance na to, parang length siya ng cable. No, length BC. Ito yung L. So we will equate this to Ty and the component or the Y distance. Okay. To solve for L, paano? L can be solved using the same method as solving for the resultant of T. We will simply take the resultant of Z, X, and Y. So that is X squared plus 4 squared plus 6 squared. Solving for this, the value of L is equal to 7.81. We can now solve for Ty kasi Meron naman tayong value ng y which is equal to 4. So for ty, let us input the values dito sa equation. 150 kilonewtons all over 7.81 meters equal to ty all over 4 meters. Solving for ty, we will have 76.82 kilonewtons. And this is our final answer. Okay, next number, determine the force F in the horizontal force along the x-axis. So, draw muna natin yung axis. This is your y-axis. Ito naman yung x-axis. And going up yung z-axis. Meron tayo daw force along x-axis na 30 kilonewton. So, let us assume ito yung force na yon. Along x-axis, but we can say opposite siya. Doon siya papunta. So, this is your Fx, which is equal to 30 kilonewtons. Okay. After that, yung member na nag-o-oppose sa Fx is simply yung cable. Dito siya. Fx is along the point of action ng cable BC. So, we can say na magde-develop yung forces along the cable. So, we will cut, kanina, we consider point B. Kaya our tension is going downwards. This time, we can consider point C naman, going to B. So, our tension will be pointing towards B. So, this is T. Yung Tx, dito siya. Yung Ty, and yung Tz is papuntang taas. Okay. With this, by summation forces horizontal equals 0, we can say na yung Tx is equal to 30 kilonewton. Basically, we can solve the force F that is applied here by simply considering F as your tension. Okay? Kasi component ng F yung Fx na to, 30 kilonewtons. So, we can use the relationship of Fx and Tx to solve for T, which is equal sa force F. Okay? Now, how do we do that? We can use the method that we did earlier. Yung nag-ratio and proportion lang tayo. Okay. First, let me specify again yung values ng x1, y1, and z1. So, this is 3 meters, 4 meters, and 6 meters. Kanina, di ba, we have solved for L. L is equal to 7.81 meters. Okay. What is the relevance of this L? Why do we need to use this again? Kasi, di ba, we will consider the resultant force. Ito, yung T. We know that L is the distance PC. Parang resultant distance siya. Okay? So, T all over L is equal to Tx all over X. With this, we can substitute the values. T over 7.81 meters equal to Tx. Tx is 30 kilonewtons all over 3 meters. We can solve for T. This is equal to 78.1 kilonewtons. This is our final answer. Okay, next problem. If Tx is equal to 20 kilonewton, Ty is 16 kilonewton, Tz is equal to 18 kilonewton, and the length of cable is 6.21 meters, what is the height of the pole? Okay, before anything else, we must understand that this length of the cable na 6.21, eto yun, yung length BC. Di ba kanina, we have already solved for length BC or yung L. L is 7.81. And knowing na L is 7.81, this is made up of the resultant of x squared plus y squared plus z squared. This time, in this problem, since L is 6.21, nag-iba na yung mga coordinates. So, hindi na ito 3 meters, 4 meters, and 6 meters. That is why, ang tinatanong is yung height ng pole or yung Z. Okay? So, hindi ito pwede. RL is 6.21 meters. Now, how do we solve for the height of the pole? Paano ba? Do we need to apply another method? Hindi na. Kasi, like what we did earlier, wala natin gamitin yung ratio and proportion lang. So, T, or the resultant of the tensile forces, all over L is equal to ano yung component ng cable or ng tensile force along the height ng pole. That is your TZ. Diba? Etong Z1, this is equal to the height of the pole. So, TZ all over H. We have the value of TZ. TZ is equal to 18 kilonewtons. L, given na 6.21 meters. And yung T, we can solve for T. T is simply the resultant of Tx squared plus Ty squared plus Tz squared. So this is 20 squared plus 16 squared plus 18 squared. The value of this is 31.3 kilonewtons. Okay, we can now solve for H. Rewriting this formula, H is equal to TZL all over T. So H, that is equal to 18 times 6.21 all over T na 31.30. This is magkano? 3.57 meters. This is the answer for number 3. Okay, and that's it. That is the solution for this situation. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe for more tutorials about CEBoard exams.